Hi everyone, we're Mimicker, here to introduce all kinds of knowledge, even the stuff we didn't know about. And today we're going into a topic that feels incredibly heavy, but also just really necessary to understand right now.
It really is. I mean, you just have to look at the news from the past few weeks.
It's been relentless. The speed of these indiscriminate attacks, it's terrifying.
It is. The data we collect points to this.
Yep.
This really disturbing global pattern happening in such a short time frame. You have the mass shooting at Brown University in the U.S., 2 dead, 9 injured.
And then, what felt like almost the next day, that awful attack during the Hanukkah celebration at Bondi Beach in Sydney.
16 deaths there. And then right after that, a whole series of attacks in Taipei.
In the metro and a shopping district. It feels like the ground is shifting under our feet in terms of what public safety even means.
It really does, and that's why we're doing this.
Exactly. And let's be super clear about the mission for this deep dive. We're not here to analyze motives or get into the politics or, frankly, spread more fear. Our goal is purely practical. We want to answer one question. Is there a single internationally proven protocol, a simple set of steps that can actually maximize your chance of survival?
And we've done the homework. We've compiled official advice from, well, everywhere. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the U.K.'s Home Office, government agencies in Japan and Taiwan.
And even internal UN training materials.
Right. And we're going to distill all that data we collect down into a single, actionable, let's call it a 7-step survival guide.
This isn't about being scared. It's about being prepared. It's about empowerment.
Because preparedness reduces panic.
Yeah.
And having a structure, a plan, that's what helps you survive when every second counts. You move from just reacting to taking deliberate action.
Okay, so let's get into it. The best way to start seems to be by looking at the core concepts, because it turns out almost everyone agrees on a hierarchy of action.
Absolutely. And we should probably start with the one most people have heard of, especially in the U.S. It comes from the Department of Homeland Security.
Run, hide, fight.
That's the one, the classic. And the order is critical.
Run is always number one. If there's a safe path out, you take it. Immediately.
Immediately. And the guidance is so specific here. You leave your belongings, your laptop, your purse, whatever. Just drop it.
That's so hard to do instinctively.
It is, but they're just things.
Yeah.
And the official sources are really, really strict on 2 other points when you're running. First, when you see police, your hands have to be empty and visible.
Up in the air.
Up in the air, fingers spread. They don't know who you are. And second, and this one is just incredibly difficult, the official advice is you do not stop to help the wounded.
Wow. That just goes against every human instinct. How do they justify that?
It's a brutal calculation. It's about risk and time. The DHS guidelines basically say your job is to get yourself and anyone else who can move out of the danger zone.
To reduce the number of potential targets.
Exactly. If you stop, you're a stationary target. And you could easily turn one casualty into 2. The professionals, the first responders, they're the ones trained for the rescue phase. Your job is to survive.
Okay. It's harsh, but it makes a kind of cold, logical sense. So if you can't run, you move to the next step in the hierarchy. Hide.
Right. If you're trapped, you find a space out of the attacker's view. A lockable room is ideal. You barricade the door with desks, chairs, anything heavy.
And then you go silent.
Completely silent. And this is the one tiny detail that shows up in almost every single protocol we looked at, and it's so important.
Let me guess. The phone.
The phone. But it's not just silencing the ringer. You have to turn off the vibration.
Because in a dead, quiet room.
A phone vibrating on a hard surface is like a beacon. It's a loud, distinct noise that gives your position away instantly. It's such a small thing, but it could be the detail that saves your life.
Okay, and then the last resort, the F in RHF fight.
The absolute last resort. Only if your life is in immediate danger. And the U.S. model here it's very direct. It calls for aggressive, violent action, use improvised weapons, commit completely.
That aggressive mindset feels very American in a way.
Right.
That's not the universal approach, is it?
Not at all. And it's fascinating when you jump across the Atlantic to the UK, their official protocol from the Home Office is run, hide, tell.
So they keep the run and hide, but they swap out fight for tell. What's the thinking there?
The UK guidance strongly discourages civilians from trying to fight. Their view is that, especially with firearms involved, an untrained person confronting an attacker just dramatically increases the danger.
So their philosophy is more about containment and letting the professionals handle it.
Precisely. Get safe, get hidden, and then tell someone. Call for help.
And their tell part is really thought out. It's not just call 999. They have this protocol for people who who can't speak.
Yes, the silent solution. It's brilliant, really. You dial 999, and if you can't make a sound, the operator will prompt you to cough or tap the handset.
And that noise confirms it's a genuine emergency.
Exactly. It tells them you're there, you're in danger, and you need help, all without you having to say a single word. It's an incredible system for communicating during chaos.
Okay, so that's the US and the UK. Let's pivot to Asia, where the scenarios might be different, more crowded spaces, maybe different kinds of weapons.
Right. And in Japan, the National Police Agency's advice is framed as escape first, avoidance second.
So again, escape is paramount.
Always. But they have this really unique piece of tactical advice for how you flee, especially if the attacker is very close. They say do not just turn your back and sprint.
Wait, really? That's my first instinct. Just turn and run as fast as possible.
It's everyone's instinct. But their logic is about control. When you turn your back, you're blind. You can't see what the attacker's doing. You could trip. You're completely vulnerable.
So what do they suggest?
You back away. Slowly at first, you keep your eyes on the threat, you monitor their movements, you create a gap. And only when you have that safe distance do you turn and sprint. It's all about maintaining situational awareness, even while retreating.
That's a fascinating insight. And I assume, like the UK, they're not big on fighting back.
Not at all. They advise using items, a bag, a jacket, as a shield. Not as a weapon, but as a distraction. Throw it at the attacker to create a 2-second window of confusion.
A window to escape.
That's the only goal. Defense is just a tool to help you run away.
And what about Taiwan? The sources said their approach is a bit of a hybrid.
It is. Taiwan's National Police Agency uses a model that looks a lot like run, hide, fight, but with a big emphasis on reporting calling 110 or 119. But they also give some very specific defensive tips.
Oh, interesting. Like what?
They explicitly suggest things like using a fire extinguisher or an umbrella as a weapon, and they give a very precise target if you absolutely have to fight. The attacker's wrist, the one holding the weapon. The idea is that for an untrained person, disarming is a more realistic goal than, say, incapacitating them. But even with all that detail, the main message is the same. Escape is always, always the priority.
So we've got run, hide, fight. Run, hide, tell. Escape first. When you put it all together, what's the big takeaway?
The big takeaway is that despite the different slogans, the core hierarchy it's universal. Every single official source, from the US to Japan, agrees on the sequence.
Evacuate, then hide, and only then, as an absolute final option, fight.
Exactly. And the fact that the UN uses that exact same 3-part structure to train its staff for high-risk environments all over the world, well, that's the ultimate validation. This isn't just theory. It's the most effective survival sequence we have, tested globally.
Okay, so that confirmation is huge. Let's move from the concepts and build that practical action plan we talked about. This is the 7-step checklist that works anywhere. Mall, subway, you name it.
And it has to start with the foundation for everything else. Step 1, stay calm and alert.
Easier said than done.
Of course. But panic freezes you. The simple act of taking a deep breath can be enough to get your brain working again. But really, the preparation starts way before that.
With situational awareness.
Yes. The crucial tip that came up again and again. Get in the habit of always noting at least 2 escape routes when you enter any public space. A theater, a store, a train car. 2 ways out.
That one habit alone changes everything. It shifts you from being a passive person in a space to an active observer.
It does. And then the second you hear a scream or a bang, your first reaction is to figure out the direction of the threat, because that direction tells you where to go.
Which brings us to step 2.
Run. Evacuate. Immediately. Run in the opposite direction of the threat. Use cover concrete pillars, walls as you move, and never, ever run toward a dead end.
And the sources were very blunt about what not to do here. Don't stop to watch. Don't pull out your phone to record.
Please do not do that. And don't wait for others who are hesitating. You shout, "Danger! Run!" to warn people, but you have to keep moving.
And for subways, like in the Taipei attack,
the advice is clear. Move to the next car if you can. Or the second the train stops at a station, get out onto the platform. Don't just sit there.
Okay, but if you can't run, the path is blocked, the attacker's too close, then it's step 3, hide. Shelter in place.
You find the best cover you can, a solid barrier, or ideally a room you can lock. You lock it, you blockade the door with furniture, turn off the lights.
And we're back to the critical phone detail.
We are. Silence your phone and turn off the vibration. You need to create a black hole of sound and light. Be invisible.
And once you're hidden, once you feel relatively secure, then it's time for step 4. Tell. Call for help.
Only when it's safe to do so. You call your local emergency number, and you need to give them 4 key pieces of information as fast and clear as you can.
Location. Nature of the attack, gun, knife, etc. A description of the attacker, and any casualties you can see.
Just the facts. And remember the UK's silent solution: if you can't talk, just keep the line open. The operator can still get information from the background noise.
Okay, this brings us to the hardest part. The step you hope you never have to use. The attacker finds your hiding spot. Escape is impossible.
Step 5. Fight. Self-defense as a last resort.
And the mental switch here has to be total.
It has to be. You are not trying to de-escalate. You are fighting for your life, and you have to commit to that 100%.
The sources had some great tactical advice here. Use anything. A fire extinguisher blinds and stuns, hot coffee in the face, a chair, a pen.
Anything. Aim for vulnerable points. Eyes, throat, groin. And building on that Taiwanese advice, the wrist holding the weapon is a fantastic target.
And if you're with other people,
use your numbers. The term is swarming. Overwhelm the attacker from multiple directions at once. It dramatically increases your chances. But, and this is key, the second you create an opening to escape, you take it. You run. You don't stay and fight.
Right. The goal is survival, not victory. Okay, so you survive the attack itself. But then the police arrive, and that's a whole new phase. Step 6, police arrival. Cooperate fully.
You have to understand, the police arriving on scene are running on adrenaline. They don't know who the threat is. Your job is to look as non-threatening as humanly possible.
Hands empty.
Empty, raised, fingers spread. Do not run towards them. Follow every single command they give you, even if it seems strange.
And this is a hard truth to accept. They are not there to help the injured, not at first.
No. Their one and only job is to neutralize the threat. They will walk past wounded people to do that. Medical aid comes after the area is secure. You just have to comply and wait.
Which brings us to the final step, after the immediate danger is over. Step 7, post-event, aid and recovery.
Once it's safe, the most immediate thing you can do to save a life is stop bleeding. Just apply direct, firm pressure to a wound.
You don't need to be a doctor to do that. But the sources had a critical warning.
A huge one. If someone has an object impaled in them, do not pull it out. It might be the only thing plugging the wound and stopping a catastrophic bleed. Leave it for the professionals.
And beyond the physical injuries, there's the mental toll.
Which is immense. Trauma is a completely normal response. You need to seek professional help. And just as importantly, you need to disconnect. Avoid doom-scrolling the news about the event. It just re-traumatizes you over and over.
So, to wrap this all up, what's the one thing we really want people to take away from this whole deep dive?
That these attacks are, by their nature, unpredictable. But your response doesn't have to be. Having that simple hierarchy run, hide, fight internalized gives you structure in the middle of pure chaos. It reduces panic. It gives you a plan. And that's what maximizes your chances of survival.
That's a great summary. But I have one more thought to leave you with, building on that idea of situational awareness from the UN training.
Go for it.
We've laid out the 7 steps for when an attack happens, but the real work starts before that. So I want you to consider this. How does the simple, practical habit of noting 2 escape routes every single time you walk into a new public place, how does that one little mental exercise fundamentally change your level of control and vigilance in your daily life?
It's powerful.
It's your first and best layer of defense.
A great thought to end on.
Thanks for tuning into this episode. If you enjoyed our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification bell. See you guys.